Breaking news, power outages an intense night, but some good news now on the Legacy fire.
Team coverage with the fire's latest size and the race earlier today to defend homes. Next.
This is breaking news on 2 News.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for 2 News at 10. We have a lot to get to tonight, including special coverage on the eve of the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks.
First, though, we want to start with breaking news out of Farmington in the Kaysville area, where a fire caused serious concern tonight and confusion. That fire also knocking out power to thousands.
We have team coverage for you on just how dangerous the Legacy fire was today.
We start, though, with meteorologist Matt Johnson. And Matt, the area had some severe storms just a couple hours ago. Did the rain help fight those flames?
Yes, they did, and it was the second round of severe storms that rolled through Davis County. This is a 3-hour loop showing where the Legacy fire is in Farmington Bay. You'll watch the beginning of the loop here, all that orange, heavy rain blowing through, and then intermittent light rain shortly thereafter. So that has actually helped. Mother Nature actually started the fire at 4 o'clock and has now almost ended it by itself with another shower rolling through the region. This is all that's left right now for the Wasatch Front. Things have calmed down significantly. Even in the eastern half of the state, things have calmed down, just some lingering showers in Castle Country. But off to the west, cold front still lingering. It's going to be punching through the state late tonight into tomorrow, and it could affect your weekend plans, including the big game. Details come up.
Matt, thank you. As he just mentioned, all of that rain helped control the Legacy fire tonight, but not before it created a big scare.
Yeah, at one point, there were more than 10,000 customers without power in that area. At this hour, the lights are back on for just about everybody.
Right now, though, we want to go to Jeremy Harris, who's been there all night long as the situation was developing. And Jeremy, there was a little confusion tonight about evacuations earlier.
Heidi, Kaysville Fire said there were evacuations. State Fire said they were not aware of any. But either way, firefighters aren't taking any chances. They, in fact, still have their fire hoses hooked up to some fire hydrants in this area, though things are looking a heck of a lot better right now than they were just a little bit earlier. After dark, the flames lit up the west side of Kaysville and Farmington. The Legacy fire keeping firefighters on guard and neighbors on edge.
When you see flames that are 30, 40 feet high and the wind blowing them towards your house, it is a little scary.
People on the west end of Davis County saw smoke, then flames around 2:30 after lightning sparked the fire.
It started out as just this little spot out there and, black smoke and then, yeah, it just went crazy.
The plume of smoke could be seen from all over the Wasatch Front.
It's just pitch black, and everybody's going really slow.
Fire crews had difficulty accessing the flames that were raging through the marshland of Farmington Bay. By 6:30, the fire had run east, pushing up against a sewer plant and causing explosions along the high-voltage power lines. Firefighters hooked up hoses to fire hydrants just in case they needed to start protecting homes up close. And for a while, it looked like they were going to need to because wind had caused the smoke to overtake neighborhoods. But then a storm cell dumped rain on the fire.
Since the rain has stopped, I've seen the fire grow immensely.
The flames kicked back up, but the rain broke the fire up enough to give some relief to fire crews and the people hoping these flames didn't get any closer.
I just don't want to see it reach the homes.
I did have several people ask me on social media tonight why there were not any fire retardant drops from aircraft. Well, I confirmed with state fire officials that right now there are no firefighting aircraft available in Utah, in part because of the extreme needs in states like California. Reporting live in Farmington, Jeremy Harris, 2 News.
All right, glad things are calming down there tonight. Jeremy, thank you.
Some of our viewers helping us out with coverage of the Legacy fire today. Here are some of the photos that were sent in. Want to thank Justin Cowan, Kennedy Bailey, and Stephanie Pollock for sending in these photos today. If you have any photos of the fire or smoke from where you were, head to KUTV.com/chime in. Send them our way. We'd love to share them with our viewers.
It was a rough day all around in Farmington after 5 hostages were freed early this morning. Police are working to piece together what happened inside that home and the final moments before the officer's deadly shot. The Farmington police chief says a wanted man running from police got into a home through an open window early this morning. He took the 5 people inside hostage, including a young girl.
They're up and down. There are a lot of emotions they're experiencing. I think they're doing more or less okay.
The man killed by police, identified now as Joseph Maynard. You can read about what led up to that 6-hour standoff on KUTV.com.
We have an update for you tonight on the man who was caught on camera pouring water on LGBTQ chalk art on the sidewalk outside BYU's campus and using a gay slur. That man is no longer a student at the university. This is video of that incident that happened last month. The man was heard saying that gay people should, quote, go to hell. He also used a derogatory term for gay people. A spokesperson for BYU declined to provide more details about the former student. Take a look at this storm damage in Roy today. This is around 5300 west and 3100 south.
Forrest Connell sent us these into the studio and said there are a lot of other trees down in that same area. Tonight, Matt, the one question on everyone's mind for tomorrow, are we going to be having rain for the big rivalry game?
You know, with each model run that's been coming in, the chances are increasing. And here's your forecast. If you are a lucky one with one of those $200 to $300 tickets headed to the game, temperatures will start in the mid-70s and cool into the mid-60s. The chance for storms decrease as the storm progresses, but in the first quarter, you could see some of those thunderstorms. Let's take a look at some of the microburst winds that we saw today. It was an active day, from a fire start to rain to microburst winds and damage. Oh, it was busy. Here's some of those stronger gusts. 70 miles an hour in Rock Springs. Bacchus Highway, west side of the Salt Lake Valley, 64. And Roy, where you saw that damage, nearly 60 miles an hour. Why are we seeing all the action? Well, we've got an unstable atmosphere. Cold front extending from a low in the Pacific Northwest is now encountering monsoon moisture that's been moving up from the south. And that's why we're so unstable and will be unstable again tomorrow. Future track shows that well. Cold front moving through the state late tonight into early tomorrow morning. Could wake up to some showers if you've got those chores for Saturday morning. Could encounter a shower or two, but by afternoon, we're going to bring out the sunshine, and this is what we're talking about. 6, 7, maybe even 8 o'clock. Thunderstorms rolling through Utah County and maybe even the northern end of the Salt Lake Valley there. And then this is into the midnight hour, finally starting to calm down. But here's your forecast for tomorrow. Isolated storms with temperatures in the mid-80s, but no rain in the southern half. St. George, 99 to 100, right around 100, as a matter of fact, through next Wednesday, finally cooling to 95 into next weekend. Salt Lake City, 83 with a chance for storms mainly in the afternoon, 86 on Sunday, and then we cruise into the low 80s and eventually topping out in the mid-80s by next week.
This is a live look tonight at New York City's skyline with the 9/11 Memorial Tribute in Light. It's tough to believe, but it's been 20 years since the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Here in Utah, communities all over have been gathering for their own memorial services to honor the lives lost during those attacks on September 11th.
The 20th annual Utah Healing Field display is a very special annual tribute featuring a flag and a candle and then a personal background for each life that was lost on that day.
You can't walk through these flags without getting emotional and just feeling a peace come over you. There are literally 3,000 angels watching over this field, truly, and you can feel it when you're here.
The event at the Sandy Promenade continues tomorrow with an Air Force flyover, Armed Forces tribute, and a special tribute to recently fallen Marine Taylor Hoover. You can find out more details at healingfield.org.
Drove by there today, absolutely beautiful. Well, the same attack that killed Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover of Utah also took the life of Marine Lance Corporal David Lee Espinoza. His body was returned home to Texas earlier today. His family was joined by the city of Laredo during a dignified transfer at the airport. The 20-year-old was among the 13 U.S. service members that were killed in an attack near Kabul's airport. Since the September 11th attacks, he's made few public statements, but tonight, for the first time on 2 News, comments from Dr. Norman Wallstrom, who lost his mother and his sister 20 years ago.
And Mr. Wallstrom has kept a very low profile the last 2 decades, but he shared his story with our own Brian Malahy.
This is the Healing Field in Sandy. Dr. Norman Wallstrom has seldom spoken publicly about September 11th, but he did speak to us, revealing, among other things, his last phone call with his mother.
Mom especially was the most optimistic person I've ever met.
Norman Wallstrom's mother, Mary Alice, was on the first plane to hit the World Trade Center towers.
It's quite ironic she was on that flight because she hated flying.
With her was her daughter, Carolyn Bugh. They had traveled to the Northeast to drop off Carolyn's twins at college. For Mary Alice, devotion eclipsed fear of flying.
She did it out of love for her daughter to do this one trip.
She had to really force herself.
Yeah, to do it. Out of love for her daughter, she did that, yeah. And the night before she got on the airplane, she called and she told us, "I'll never do this again." It's kind of ironic. I'm going to come home and never do this again.
Minutes from Wallstrom's home, across a pond from I-15 in Kaysville, is a permanent memorial to September 11th.
I see families coming. I see parents who bring their children to teach them about it.
Resolve, as much as anything, from Margaret Wallstrom, Norman's wife, built the memorial where 2,200 miles west of Ground Zero, a New York firefighter holds a child.
It turned out wonderful in the end.
The memorial is to memorialize the compassion and the courage of people helping other people.
As for the twins who were dropped off at college just days before the terrorist attacks, one of them still lives in New York. The Wallstroms say she does not want to leave, so she can stay close to her mother and grandmother. Brian Malahi, 2 News.
Brian, thank you for that compelling story. Today, Salt Lake County leaders talked about the issues facing immigrants and refugees as part of Welcoming Week. It's a week to highlight the everyday work necessary to build welcoming places for everybody. Former immigrants and refugees from multiple countries took part, some even telling their own personal stories. Salt Lake County has a long history of welcoming refugees and immigrants with more than 50,000 new residents.
And a live look tonight at Smith's Ballpark. The Salt Lake Bees are offering discounted tickets to first responders. The discount is for tomorrow evening's game against the Oklahoma City Dodgers. That game starts at 6:35. First responders can head to the Bees website and use GovX to get those tickets or get them at the gate.
Now, a little wind and rain could not dampen the high school football spirit tonight. Stay tuned for Friday Night Lights coverage. Our sports team, they've been spread out across the state with the biggest games of the night this evening.
A whole lot of action and a live look we want to leave you with New York City on the eve of this 20th anniversary of 9/11.